Hey guys, welcome back to Just Nukem Gaming. So today we're going to do something a little fun. I'm going to introduce my daughter Allyson here. Something a little different than what you normally used to play. So this is no Roblox, no Fortnite.
No sharks.
It's actually not a horror game.
Cap. Up the cap.
It's not. This is a very unique experience.
Doesn't make it in.
We'll see. I'm gonna let you take control.
Let the games begin. Who's the? Have you watched?
This is the story of a man named
Some of
Stanley.
it.
Stanley worked for a
Very
company
proud.
in a big building where he was
Like the second day
employee
it came
number
out? I watched.
427. Employee number 427's
So you're
job
Stanley.
was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly
Stanley
for
Parable.
this job. And Stanley was happy.
Basically, just in a box following orders, whatever.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay, you're playing.
So he couldn't move when he
Well,
was trying to.
He wasn't sure what to do. But now he can move.
I have an idea. Maybe like there's like a possible chance that maybe. Oh wait, what am I saying? That he's been like stuck there for like a million years, and then like when he finally realized what happened, like he realized what he was
All of his co-workers were gone.
actually.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What's the meaning?
It's a room where people that work together meet.
I said where?
I don't know. We have to look for it. It's usually one with a bunch of chairs.
Or a lot of.
Yeah, all these people are
When
supposed to work
Stanley
here, but they're
came
not
to a
here.
set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Where's the meeting room?
Well, he just told you that the door's on the left. Because there's 2 doors. Keep going. Eventually we'll find it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Okay, so there's nobody here. It's a broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Like a.
Kinda.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
That's 2.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Have you seen this?
Yes, this is actually a re-release. This game came out quite a few years ago. It was super popular.
It's actually not scary.
No, well, I don't know if there's any scary stuff in
building,
here, but it's not so
Stanley
scary.
realized he felt a bit
This is
peculiar.
interesting.
It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt
Kinda.
more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Yeah, it was super popular. They actually released it, I think, just last year, and they added some
Stanley
new
walked straight
content.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
It is like a toy.
The lights rose on an enormous
might
room
be.
packed with television screens.
What happened if you
What
had
horrible
gone the other
secret
way?
did this place
First
hold?
escape.
Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Because there's like. If I beat the game, can we redo it?
Yes.
Or depends if I like it or not.
So I think there's another button behind you.
Now the monitors
Camera
jumped to
button.
life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
So you're number 427.
$600.
Yeah, it looks like a few people were fired.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
These are all very big questions.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His
Well,
own life
I mean, yeah, it
in
does make
someone
sense that he
else's
couldn't move,
control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
What type of dramatic thing is this?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I don't know. I think they want you to go to the...
Let me just.
facility power.
5. Mind controls idle waiting input.
So right now, nobody's controlling anybody. That's why you're able
And
to
when at
do
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
I bet somebody appears and they start.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Oh, look at all this nature and stuff outside.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
It's not open.
It's all.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Congratulations, you beat the game. You did everything you were supposed to. Guess what? You get to play again.
Why? Why? I didn't even click on it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Why are you
Perhaps
looking at
he
me
had
like that?
simply
What
missed a
happened?
memo.
So let's keep moving.
Why am I playing this again? I didn't click on playing again.
So stop in
When
this
Stanley
room.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So you were right about something earlier. About choice. So he wants you to go the left path. What happens if you go the right path?
There's like a voice that's telling us where to go.
Something is, but what happens if we do what we want?
It's on the escape. But I'll go to right.
This was
Right
not
back.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
We make whatever's telling us.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Well, so that's the way he's telling you to go, left. What if you go straight?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Remember, don't jump.
Can't even jump.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Or if you just
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
walk off if you
I
want.
realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the
That's kinda
story has
right.
been about nothing but you
Something's talking
all
to
this
us.
time. There's
Yeah,
someone
there's a
you've been
narrator here.
neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been
Freak her.
waiting.
Womp womp.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Do I have to?
Let's see what happens. We don't.
I think we might.
We'll go try the door.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry
No.
to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Do you want to go inside?
This is a very
That's scary.
sad
This mannequin's
story about
scary.
the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
I'm just
Now
trying
he's
to.
pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Like you can watch TV?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he
Get a load
imagined
of
that
this
one
guy.
day while at work,
Took that.
he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another
Saw
was a
that one.
yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do
Pay
it.
attention.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I
You
tell
see,
him
he
in a
told you
way
not
that
to
he'll
do it.
understand that every second he remains here,
I can do
he's
whatever I want.
electing to kill himself?
Yeah.
How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
You died.
I died. How do you know?
Oh, you're back again.
If I don't follow what it says, I die.
All of
No,
his
that's just one of the
co-workers were
endings.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm gonna go to the escape way.
Oh. It wasn't open before.
I'm gonna go to the escape way.
Okay.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Was it?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once
he'll tell
again
you again.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What
it was
could it
284.
mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody.
Five.
He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply
What happened
pushing
if
random
maybe-
buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Everything worked.
I don't know. I played it quite a bit when it came out a long time ago. This one has new stuff in it, so I haven't seen the new stuff.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, you don't want to go down here no more? What if he's just saying that so you'll turn back? Because he wants you to go his way.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Follow me.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know
Maybe
the
you want to
real
look
story,
around.
trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
What happens if you
Stanley.
crouch?
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Nope, looks like the narrator has a narrator.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
See, this is your office. This is where you go to the two doors. Because that's your office right there.
Where are those?
Yeah, see, these are all assets from the game. This is like a developer's room. These are all the people that made the game on the wall. Like a museum. You don't have to.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
How's it confusing? You go where you want. I think you're going in circles now.
Yeah, I know.
But you gotta go somewhere.
Good and bad game design. But of course, you being you, let's probably spend the next hour trying to solve all his button pushing. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you. Then he pushed the number 8.
That's all outtakes from the guy who's narrating, or who was narrating before the woman started narrating. Stuff that he made for the game, but they didn't put in. No. Well, you passed the other place you were trying to go to earlier. It's over here on the left. Right there. Like a
Can you
paradox
see?
or something like that.
Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
I think you got squished.
The ending.
It's another ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Go in here if you like. No, this is new stuff. This is what they added to the game.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
No, too late. So this is stuff they added to the game when they remade it for the Ultra Deluxe edition.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yep.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
See, they're explaining it all to you.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds
Do you ever
delightful.
escape?
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Get out. Though. Have you ever found what happened to the coworker?
Is
No.
it broken? What's
Never?
going on here? Should
They don't matter.
Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
This is all about you. What you want to do.
I just care about the
I
coworker.
have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Okay, he wants to see the content.
A lot of that. Let's
See what they added.
Give me the context.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Finally.
But you gotta stay in the circle to jump. Because you can't jump in the actual other game.
A lot of this game.
No, that's all the jumps you got in the game. No more.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness.
See what else they got.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new
Okay,
content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes.
Let's see what else they
I
added.
knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Okay, let's see what the new content is.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the
Get a
game's
load of this
trophies,
game.
and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I
Yaps
intend to
too
find these
much.
people on
He's
Twitter
angry.
and hold
You
them
got-
personally
So, you only got,
accountable.
at least you got something new.
It's my fault,
Freckle
Stanley.
Freckle.
I built up
You
too
wanted
much
more, not
anticipation
just
around the
jump
new
button.
content, I'm
Yeah,
afraid.
even more.
It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're
If I
still
didn't
with me,
finish the jump,
why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
No. Oh.
Okay. Oh, well. This is different.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Do you want to go in the vent? It's up to you. This looks like it takes you maybe back to where you were in the regular game. Or you could go in the vent.
Have you?
This is all new. I haven't seen this before. It's a screwdriver and a something. Like a mug.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Oh, see, the narrator put something here just
I
for you.
call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the
boring.
peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a
Nobody
cheap
cares
PlayStation
about
port?
that. This is so
Remember
weird.
back in October of 2013
It's all commentary. It's
when the
intended to
game
be funny
originally
and
launched?
ironic and stuff
Back
like that.
then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all
But this
meant
doesn't
something.
have any.
Oh, the waste.
This is all commentary about games. About how they'll make games and release them, then they'll release new editions saying they add a whole bunch of new content.
suis
Really
dans
nothing.
la mémorisation, cesse la pluie des loups, et je n'attends plus que toi, mon amour.
He wants you to remember the original game, not the new content stuff.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a
They had those
husk
great reviews.
now. A lifeless husk
No,
with an hour of
new
new
content.
elevator content.
All they had was the jump button. You only had like 30 jumps, that's it. That's all they added to the game. That was all the new stuff.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And
But
they
he don't
couldn't
like
even do
them.
that. Couldn't resist the urge to go
This is stuff he
meddling
added
with a
just so he could
beloved
talk about it.
franchise.
These Xbox Flight's supposed to be fun.
Kinda dumb.
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh no.
Honestly,
Oh.
I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is
What?
obnoxious and unfunny,
These are Steam reviews.
with his humor and dialogue proving to be
It's
more
a bad one. See
irritating
the
than
thumbs down?
entertaining.
Steam?
That's a
Funny.
storefront.
I'm not trying
Who's
to be
that?
funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of
Where's
art.
the storefront?
I suppose I could write up a
It's
handful
where
of
people
gags
go
to
to buy
insert
games
into the
online.
Stanley Parable, but
You
the
got
game is
Steam
already
on
such a
here.
densely layered web of profound philosophical insights
Steam's good.
that I can't even
Storefront.
imagine
These
where
are
I'd have
people
the
that-
room to stick them.
Customers that bought the game and they reviewed it and they didn't like it.
From Steam.
They bought the game on Steam, they played it and they didn't like it, so they left a bad review on there.
Imagine. Who said? I wish I could say that to the game. I should have added talking to the game.
See, he just wants to remember the good reviews.
Okay, let's see what
Oh.
this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can
You
tell
are,
me if
you
I'm
kinda
preachy.
are.
Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. To be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe
Too
it
dramatic. Get a
Yeah.
load of that guy.
What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Not really. It is kind of,
You gotta take
but
it
it's
in.
kind of fun.
And there's a lot of different endings. You just gotta be willing to experiment.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Emotion, everything that happens.
Because it's vibration. It makes you for.
And here it is.
Oh, you got a
Go
skip
ahead
button.
and give it a shot. I'll
Push
pop
it.
you forward in time so that the... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full... Well there, sport. You really did catch me
wait
rambling
for it
on
to
a
pop
bit,
out.
didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome
make
back,
him quit
Stanley.
talking.
Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley,
All the
I
lights
think
are
it's been a
dead.
week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here
He was
all that
alone this whole time.
Just sitting
Aw.
here. Not a single person
skip
to
again?
speak with.
Let
And
me
you
just let
think
him
that
talk.
that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Oh, hello. It's you.
Here?
You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is
get
what
the
I
button
can
again?
only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire
I
life.
feel bad. I
All
had
of
left them for a year.
collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant,
He was
I
like,
could
"No,
see
don't leave.
myself
Come back."
clearly,
No, and then now he
calmly,
doesn't care.
with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring
Well, that's
of
what the
both
people
delight
that
and
in the
disgust
Steam review said they wanted to skip us.
simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see,
You talk too much.
I don't know if he's alive. Oh. There's some kind of alarm.
but they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much.
He talks too. Like he doesn't stop talking.
That's why everybody wanted the skip button.
Who doesn't?
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
Oh, I
is
think
never
you're starting
the
to break him a
end,
little.
Is never the end, is never the end, is never
Or
the
narrator.
end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the
Probably been decades at this point. It just freezes it. Oh. Everything's falling apart now.
I don't know. I like this.
Oh, it's daytime. Hope we get out though. The skip button still works though.
I'm for that over.
I guess we were frozen for a long time. Maybe if we keep hitting skip, eventually the whole building will come down.
Eventually.
I heard something. Oh. Oh, it might be way out now. You want to see if the button comes back out?
Yes. Aw, poor narrator.
I don't know. It's knocked over. It might be done for. Now you're free.
Telling me we're in the middle of nowhere.
But you're free. It didn't look like you get it again.
I don't think I can.
Yeah, I think we broke it. We're good. We just need to wander into the sunset, I guess.
Or Charlie. Never the.
That was another ending.
I want that ending again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. You want
Oh, good.
Go
You
in there?
noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Let's see what he added.
This is never the. I don't know. This reminds me of the skip button.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, we got a sequel now.
Yes, you
The
see,
sequel to the Stanley
isn't this
Parable.
far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
I think we're supposed to follow the sun.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there.
Artistic
it's
or
future-oriented.
artistic?
It screams progress and innovation
the two
and
doors.
long-term franchising potential.
Oh,
We
you hear that?
Yes, I heard you. No, it's fine. You go read the blackboard and see what they say on there. Over on the right. Yeah, that's the or whiteboard. More TSP, better TSP. Win-win. Sequential mind share, paradigm shift, synergy, practical order approach.
Less talking? No? Okay.
Let's go look around.
My foot thumb hurts.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Okay, let's see what he's come up with.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Says no screenshots.
Okay, I'll
look
be
around,
honest,
see
I
what you got.
haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone
Oh,
with...
he didn't want the one you
No,
picked.
I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go look around some more. There's a new and easy trophy. Where the sign is?
Oh, oopsie.
Pull the lever and you get a trophy. Okay, let's go in there.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world
I'm
who
not
have been
working on my
uproariously
trophies.
He said he didn't
demanding
figure out how to fix it.
Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I don't want it.
Yeah, so no trophy for us. But when the second game comes out, they'll have it in there.
Oh, it's
What
not out
else?
yet.
What other
No, this is
exhibits
just
have we
ideas for the
seen yet?
second game. Let's go to some other rooms.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
The little Stanley trophy. Flexible. Oh, congratulations. You got 1 out of 6.
God, it really
maybe
is
there's
the
more in
worst
here.
when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Oh, look, the jump circle's back.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
They had you save some jumps, you would have had some now.
That's what I.
Oh well, let's go try something else.
This game is.
Look up the sign.
Infinite hole.
Let's go check it out.
It doesn't.
I think that's where the balloons were.
Probably.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
I don't know. You can see how far we fall.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Oh, he's blaming you.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much... Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing... Wow.
Why is it getting shorter? Why is it getting
I'm starting to become
shorter?
extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to... How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this stage, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean... I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole. I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
There's no way. If I just like stay here.
Hit the triangle just in case. Oh.
Well, my smart idea of keeping falling into the hole kind of might give us a really impressive ending.
Well, if the teleport button don't work, you're stuck in here forever.
Well, I think I got an ending. He's not gonna come back, actually.
That's you in the hole.
Have you ever seen this like this before?
No, I haven't seen this. Is all new content. This is new content.
This is because of me. And that's smart.
Perception. Changing the music.
This is actually new. What the Sigma?
Oh, you're upside down.
Oh,
Oh, you got a big head.
get out.
Oh boy. Nice beach.
What the Sigma? What? We wanted to look like that.
Oh, you broke it.
No, I didn't.
You're in air. Oh, you're just drawing.
I'm paper. I'm paper. What the? Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm a robot now.
Stanley?
What the?
Stanley!
I'm having fun. Let me be.
It seems you had sort of
Oh my
dozed off
God.
there,
Oh, it's
drifting
just
away
a
to
nightmare.
dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole?
Why?
From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
He wanted to be in the hole.
Wait, but like not forever. I didn't expect for me to have this type of ending. Like I was having fun. Like he ruined my fun. Like what the Sigma? I literally discovered something. Like what?
Here we
What?
are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Okay, let's go to the bucket.
The reassurance bucket.
The puppy. No,
A common
upside down.
complaint
That
of
was
the
the
Stanley
most
Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley,
Oh, there it is.
anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be
Wait,
less
wait.
uncomfortable.
My foot thumbs.
Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is
Yo,
the perfect
apes have
solution.
foot thumbs.
Come on, give it a try.
The monkeys?
Yes. They're monkeys, both out tails. Oh, can you take the bucket?
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing
Let's see what
despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more
It's just
await
a
you
bucket.
in the
Why is he
Stanley
going all
Parable
la for a
2.
bucket?
Okay, well, let's leave with our bucket.
What the Sigma?
This is just a part of your life now. Having a bucket.
I don't think I want to win.
Does anyone give out
Okay.
awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really
No.
should be an award if it isn't already.
Or in Roblox. Like I got that raise.
Red is the new orange. Oh, wait, what does the sign over on the left say? Well, now it's on your right. Okay, something about a button, but you keep turning past it. Turn right. 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 Now look up. Go left a little. Go down. Walk out of here. Up to the right. Hear your name in the game. There's a big sign up above the door. This is one actually one should read. Oh, let's hear your name.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game... Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will
Jim from
say
BTS?
your name,
No,
whatever
I was
name
joking.
that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just
What
play
game
along.
is this?
I promise you'll love it. Okay,
Oh, my
here we
name,
go.
buddy.
Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person
Okay,
named
got it.
Jim.
He doesn't know Allyson, so you got to pretend you're Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Hurt his feelings.
What?
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
No! No!
Oh, you used it too many
I don't like
times.
this game.
Oh, no Jim button for you.
Well, I'm gonna have it.
At least you got your bucket though.
Freak this
Maybe
bucket.
I'll only
Who
let
gives you
people
a
named
bucket for
Jim
a
play the
reward?
Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Oh, that's where we can.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything else over here. We'll check out maybe one more thing, then we'll call it in.
Oh, we already got the ending for that one. See?
There might be. We have to find a way up there though.
The eggs.
Turn to your left. Maybe there's. No, see that's not going to take you out. I think we already looked at all these exhibits.
My favorite one was the hole for sure. It was really interesting, you know.
Yes, that it was.
Or where the puppies came from, but get it.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Bucket.
Hopefully lets you take the bucket with you.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay.
Putting the game together.
Are you ready? Here it is.
Infinite hole.
I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Just a stupid drawing of mine.
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean,
Let me
there's
do a
the
different
little
arrangement.
broken trophy machine.
Okay,
You got the jump circle.
Yes, this is much better.
Let's
I
go
feel
try again.
good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something
makes
up.
it.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Stanley Parable 2. Well, he just made the game right now. There was no Stanley Parable 2 until this moment.
Is it out yet?
I don't know. Hit begin game.
This one.
See? It's a game.
Is that game even out yet?
This is the story of a man.
The skip button? Skip to.
Yes, I skipped. Now we're back in the game. Oh,
Why'd you skip him?
I see something.
The balloons. I don't
All
like
of his
the
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, bucket.
Stanley
Bucket.
picked up the bucket.
Oh.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No, we're going to go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him
What
that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Why is he referring the bucket to everything?
He really likes the bucket.
Oh.
And here it
the
was.
narrator,
Had the
told
bucket
me
turned
I
out to
have
be
a feeling
correct?
I
Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Bucket's really smart.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
I'm there before.
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
When did the bucket come in here?
Go to the cargo lift.
He's mocking us. I
No.
don't like this game.
He would never.
Jump.
Okay.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend.
Another
So he
ending,
threw
guys.
himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
What the?
So we died with the bucket together forever.
Oh, we still stayed
Stanley
in.
decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself, and constantly needed. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
I was upset.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Still not going that way.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Because you knew
Stanley took the
he's
door
a
on his
crazy
left to
person
go
that
back to
doesn't
the
listen
meeting
to the
room.
narrator.
I got my own path.
No,
And he's dying
said
with
the
the
bucket.
bucket because
Don't
I
go to the
dared him
meeting
to.
room.
But
Go
the
somewhere
bucket told
else.
you to jump off the
cargo
bridge, you
lift,
jump
yes.
off the bridge.
Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Only we had something to land.
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift
go to
all the
the
way to the
top.
top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking, but Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
This is the Stanley Parable too. The bucket matters greatly.
No, it doesn't.
It makes us feel happy.
Is it because it's a person?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
No, it's just a bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt
we'll try
away
one more
as Stanley
thing.
embraced the bucket.
Turn off everybody's computers. Yes, we can. I'm going to try one more thing, see if we can diverge the path.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the... And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
See where this goes.
Exactly, I told you to go in there. Like, I have a big
But I
brain.
wanted to jump.
Oh,
My bucket.
good, Stanley.
Okay.
I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh, look at this. It's
You see,
appreciation room.
your friends and
Oh,
I
I
are
get it.
concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much.
Oh, the baby's
It's
my
this
friend.
bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel
No
content.
sharks!
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this
Or
bucket
usually a
that
bad
they've never
review
seen
saying
before.
that the bucket
Yes, I
is not
know I'm the one
important.
who
It's the
gave you the
game or
bucket,
something.
but you're
like,
spending
why
too
is
much
the-
time
why-
with it.
I'm just gonna say,
Don't you want
if
another
Stanley
story
2,
involving the Adventure
is, like,
Line?
always
We
obsessed
could make
with
the
bucket,
Adventure
I'm not
Line go
playing.
somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Like, the truck left. Did you see? Did you see it?
What left?
The truck. It moved.
Okay, let's go. Check it out.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Have you seen this before?
Nope. You got to use it. You got to use it. You get to explore the world. Go on an adventure. Adventure with our bucket.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. No, he wants us to give something up.
Skip.
Give us something up.
Give. What do you mean something?
We only got one thing. He wants our bucket.
I don't want. No. Do we have to? Can you just leave the game? I don't want to. No bucket for you.
See way out?
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
very
just
proud to
can you
introduce a
like die
brand
or
new
something?
character.
No.
This is
No,
the bucket
don't get rid of it.
destroyer.
Die.
I think it'll
No.
make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell
I'll
it out
see a
for
way
you.
out.
Wait, can you go down to those
Go
stairs?
ahead now, Stanley. Say
Turn
goodbye
around.
to the bucket, and then pop it
See
into the
those
machine
stairs? Oh
when
no,
you're
it's
ready.
blocked. Just don't do it. Don't ever do it.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not.
You.
I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and go.
The fans want the bucket to get destroyed. What type of game is this? What?
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were...
I don't care. You're trying to destroy the bucket.
And I bet he worked so hard making that Bucket Destroyer.
Womp to the womp beady womp. It's never the end. It's never the end. Is the bucket still? Check if the bucket's still.
I bet the bucket's still.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great,
Yes.
he thought to him. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms.
Yep.
With the bucket in his arms again.
Well, I think that's a pretty good look at the game. We got to see quite a few endings.
Yeah, I like the whole one.
I like that we got to die with the bucket in our arms.
Our friend, my foot thumb still hurt.
Big toe. Alright, so, yeah. It's kind of fun.
Is it the... Yeah, it is. I don't...
Stanley
Well, like, the
clung
only
the
fun
bucket to
part
his
was
cheek.
the whole one.
Could his co-workers really all be gone?
And there are more endings that we haven't even seen. You have to do quite a bit of exploring. There's little ways to break the game.
Right.
Like finding places you could jump off and sneak away. It's all about choice. You can go his way. You can go your own way.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the
how we
door on
got
his left.
to...
Yeah, the game's all about
Still
options,
no one
it's
was
choice
here.
and game.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his
It's
boss's
okay.
office was where he'd find answers.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. It doesn't have a...
Actually have good
Oh,
taste
Stanley,
in,
can you feel it?
that one.
The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day.
Ooh,
This
wait,
broom
wait.
closet believes it deserves the bucket.
The
I
closet
can
wants her
feel it
bucket.
now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be.
Oh, we're
given
gonna
the
keep our
pressure
bucket.
that the broom closet is putting on your... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I see we could go down. Oh, look!
Not my fault.
It's another collectible!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines.
Yeah, we got
Remember,
two now. See, they're
no
actually in the
reward
game.
for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness.
They're just
God knows
little
I've
random
tried.
collect.
So,
So,
I
in a
implore
lot of
you to
games, there are
savor
things you just
each
collect
and
for no
every
reason.
moment you
They
come
don't give you
across one of
anything,
these
they just throw them
beautiful
in there to keep you
figurines.
busy. Supposed to be kind of like a commentary on it.
Shoes.
I'm just surprised. I
Stanley
didn't
just
think it'd
couldn't
actually
do
be
it.
in the game.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Probably not. It's been
He
on for a
looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
while.
The bucket
3DS.
returned his gaze, but
They're
said
kinda
nothing
old
at
now.
all. That's strange, Stanley
Maybe back
thought.
in
Usually the bucket
early
is a source
2010.
of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these.
I used to
He
have
held
one,
the
but I
bucket
gave it
close.
to him.
yet felt none of its familiar
Oh, shit.
reassurance and comfort.
Well, how's I
And
supposed
that's
to know
when
it's
Stanley
gonna become
realized,
popular again?
this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal,
let's end the episode there.
everyday bucket.
I think we had a
Someone
really good
else's
time.
Bucket,
Had some
perhaps.
fun moments.
How did I end up
I
with
know you
someone
thought it was kinda
else's
slow at
bucket?
first.
This is all
Yeah, I thought
terribly
it was.
wrong. Surely
But it
no
gets there
good
once
would
you
come
actually-
from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre
Where's the
hallucinations
bucket?
He took
Stanley
it.
might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed
took our
that the
bucket.
rings were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. Now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Look at
Could it truly
hallucination.
be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Oh no, these aren't our
Come to me,
buckets.
Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then
That's
suddenly,
because of a
he froze
bucket.
dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony.
What do you mean?
And
I think you mean
blacked out.
spiritually. Alright, well, I didn't expect
This
that
is the
to go down like
story
that.
Me
of a
either.
woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and
Oh my
security.
God.
Oh, the bucket
and went to her
again.
place of work.
No, we're not doing this.
But on this
Okay.
particular
What
day,
the?
her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed
We're
dead
dead.
on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course,
See?
he
We died
got
'cause we
mad,
didn't have our bucket.
ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket
What
with
type
him.
of game are you doing?
Perhaps he didn't
No,
even
like,
realize
actually
he'd
answer
forgotten
my
his
question.
bucket
What
at
type of
home.
game is
It's a
this?
funny game.
Oh,
How cool.
dying over a bucket is insane.
And she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total
Good girl.
clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself.
Well, she has her
"My
own bucket,
life
but we
kicks
lost ours."
ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Did you backflip all the way to work if you have your bucket?
Get out. The door's right there.
Okay, yeah, we're going to end it there. I didn't expect that will last a little bit.
I just need to see if the bucket's still there. If it's not there, I'm gonna crash.
Well, I'm sure it's still there.
All of his co-workers...
See, all that wasn't in the original game.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket's still
Perhaps
there.
he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, yeah, we're going to end it there. A fun little game, still more stuff to check out. It hit pretty hard when this came way back out then. A bit of a little bit of splash when it re-released with the new content. Kind of fun. Not something you'd go back and play a whole lot. Once you've kind of seen everything, but it's fun to check out at least once.
Or five.
Well, maybe this is one you might want to check out, find out what other stuff you can find on your own. Alright, so we're going to end things there. Hope everybody had a great time. I think we had a few good laughs at least. You can see there's a whole lot of different game experiences, and this is just one of many. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to branch out a little bit. Try something.
Wanna know something cool in Fortnite? There's this something called a Godzilla skin, and it looks like really goofy. And I kind of want V-Bucks. If I need V-Bucks, I want V. It's only $20.
No. Still same boring experience. Alright. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We do appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It helps out the channel a lot. We'll see you guys next time. Some more fun games.
Bye.
Bye.